Hello, it's Michael Christopher again. Uh, November 1st, 2025. Making a video about state corruption in the state of Connecticut and town corruption in the town of East Hartford, Connecticut. Uh, I've been gang stalked, I've been harassed, I've been surveilled, uh, and my mind has been manipulated. All right. It should be known that the FBI headquarters is less than a half an hour away from East Hartford, Connecticut. And from what I'm putting together, the FBI has been a part of this, and it gets pretty deep and it gets pretty almost unbelievable. But the United States government is experimenting on people. They're pushing them in mental health. They're pushing people into mental health to take away their rights to own a gun. In my case, I don't know about everyone else. I can only speak for myself. But I've been pushed into mental health. They've involved my family. They alienated me from my family. And my mom, Pauline Risk, is a big part of this. I know she has manipulated me. She has brought me down within my family where I can't even talk to my family anymore. No one's telling me what's going on. All they're simply saying is you need help. And this is based off nothing. Nothing from what I can put together. I haven't done anything to them. In my eyes, ever in the past, they're family, and I've always treated them like that. But they're pretty much have kicked me out of the family. And I don't know why. But what can you do about it? But, the government is experimenting on people, all right? In my case, they caused a car accident, brought me to Hartford Hospital. For some reason, there's 2 days that are unaccounted for. They waited 2 days supposedly because they couldn't find my wallet, which I tend not to believe, because there was an instance afterwards where I had a run-in with the police, and they ran the license plate, and from there they did their due diligence. So I have 2 days here missing that are unaccounted for in the Hartford Hospital, which at first sight doesn't seem like anything, but as I'm starting to remember more, they have used these EEGs and artificial intelligence to pretty much get an idea of how I think. They did this in about September. From there on out, I was getting harassed at Hanwha Aerospace, a company that works for, does business with the Department of Defense. All right. And this is where I tend to believe that there's a little bit of a psyop going on. Might still be going on. I don't know. I think they got what they wanted out of me. But I worked with Paul Loretta, Joe Loretta, Julie Neary, William Ertel, and a few others. But all these people tied to my life. William Ertel, Julie Ertel, I went to high school with. Paul Loretta, Joe Loretta, come to find out these guys that have guns are gun owners that threaten my life. They're friends with, of course, my ex-girlfriend's husband now, I guess. And I was putting everything together at the time. I thought at first it was just getting harassed by these guys because of that. But the way that this has gone, it's like it's a psyop all the way. And if you've noticed, when it is the government, they've even stated themselves they work with state and local authorities, which for the longest time before I put everything together, I just thought it was just the East Hartford Police Department in the state of Connecticut. I was getting followed around by state troopers. I was getting followed around by East Hartford Police Department. I was getting followed around by public safety. And like I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, what did I do here? And it was getting to the point where it was really causing me some grief. But there was also times that I need to consider that people need to realize that these neuroweapons, microwave weapons, they're being used on Americans. And I didn't realize it at the time, because what they do this in such a sophisticated way that they spread rumors about you, get people to think you're in trouble with the law, and they get them to collect information on you that way. And I never had anything to hide. I'm a single guy who enjoyed time by himself, playing guitar and playing the piano, and just relaxing. And this is where it gets scary, because they can do this to people. They can literally make you out to be something that you're not, and get you to react in ways that you otherwise wouldn't. And I believe very wholeheartedly at this point that I was being made out to be a domestic terrorist. Once again, it sounds crazy, sounds irrational, but these are the things that I've lived through. An example of this is during a week and a half before I had to take off, and I went to my Aunt Barbara Roy's house of Columbia, Connecticut. Her husband, Bob Roy, and son, Robert Roy, live on the same area. I went over there to see him. I haven't seen him in a while. I went up just to say hello, catch up. And it was a little weird. My aunt gave me money. She gave me a couple of things. But one thing that really stood out to me, she gave me a shirt that's the same exact shirt that Tyler Robinson guy was wearing when he killed Charlie Kirk. I think We the People, Land of the Free, Home of the Brave, I think it said, with an eagle. And it was very weird, come to think about it. Everything that I've gone through, as far as being harassed by the police, being stalked, surveilled, all to the point where they got me in a point to isolate me, and then they start 4 wellness checks in a matter of a week. My neighbors are harassing me, saying they want to buy my house. So I say, screw it, I'm out of here. I destroy my house. Say, my peace of mind's worth more than anything. And I felt trapped in my own house. I didn't feel safe in my own house because people were harassing me. The cops were following me around nonstop, everywhere I went. To the library, to the bar, they literally were using community policing to follow me around. And it got to a point I didn't know where to go, and no one would talk to me. My whole family was like, "You need to get your head checked out." Based on what? And it's not like anyone ever tried to sit down and talk with me. It was just all talk between themselves, and then just saying, "You need to get your head checked out." It's I know who I am. I know who I am more than anyone else. And to have a group of people, just come at you so furiously, just saying that you need to help. It's very unsettling, especially in at the same time, you're getting harassed, stalked, surveilled, targeted by the state of Connecticut, East Hartford, and probably the FBI. But there was times where it needs to be considered now, especially since I was put in with Hartford Hospital. All right, I was put in over there, and it's like they tapped me up to they hooked me up to this EEG machine, and it seems like they were running it through artificial intelligence. If you pay attention in Hartford Hospital, they're pushing artificial intelligence in relation to healthcare and mental health. And I think I'm pretty sure, I I just need to put it out there that this is possible and people need to realize it. I can't say for sure that this has happened. All I know is what I've been through and what I've had to deal with it and what I continue to go through. Um, but I feel like the only thing I can do is speak let my voice be heard, and no matter how much little it means right now, because another reason they throw you in these hospitals is to discredit you, you know, and take away any validation of what you have to say. All it says on paper is, he's this, that, and the other thing, and you know, they pretty much invalidate what you have to say. But with Hartford Healthcare, people need to be very cautious of this artificial intelligence. There's no regulation over this. They're doing whatever they want. And as far as my case, I didn't even sign anything. This was just all done, while they supposedly I had a traumatic brain injury. Okay? They're trying to say I had a traumatic brain injury once again to discount me, to write me off. And I'm pretty aware of who I am, and when this is how they've taken advantage of me, because they've pretty much slandered me with my family. They won't even talk. Something happened. They told them something, and I feel like a lot of this has to do with my sister, Jessica Johnson, was involved with a lot of with DCF for years. And it got to a point they kicked out one boyfriend, kicked out the other boyfriend. Then it got to I was the only guy around. All right? And I feel like the state of Connecticut and possibly the Federal Bureau of Investigation has used DCF to get to my family. I think pretty much what they must have said to him is like, hey, we got to get him some mental help or else we have to take these children away because they're not safe. And I think that's the only reason my mom has done what she did. She came to me and said, right before this got heavy, and said she thought about killing herself. This is a person who's worried about my mental health. And, I comforted her. I told her I love her. I told her people here that, care about you. And then putting all this together, I think that was the ultimatum they gave her, And she manipulated me. And the police worked with my family. The police didn't bother to really try to talk to me too much. They just show up to my house. Your family's worried about you. We're here. And when you're getting harassed and stalked by the police and they just show up like that, you're not gonna... I was very reasonable with them all 4 times. All 4 fucking times. To the point where they couldn't do anything. And this is where people need to realize that there are possibilities of mental manipulation, all right? But as I'm learning, there's these things called brain-computer interfaces. And there were times throughout these courses, a couple weeks, where all of a sudden these thoughts came into my head and I just acted. Not violently. I'm not a violent person whatsoever. But I remember when people were outside my house constantly. They were, I must mention that this all started on April 18th, Good Friday. This is how they set it up. And I was at my mom's house, and looking outside the window, there was someone taking pictures of the phone lines. So I run out there, ask them what they're doing. They say they're from a company called Leidos, Leidos. And I couldn't put 2 and 2 together because at that point in time, I was pursuing a lawsuit for Hanwha Aerospace. And, but I think something happened where they can, something happened with these microwaves or something, because all of a sudden, ever since then, I was just paranoid, and the way it has involved my family, but I really don't want to speak about it on that day because it's really absurd. But at the time when I believe they're using these microwave weapons it makes you. It's all I can say is you can't think rationally. I was struck with such severe anxiety, and my heart was pounding so much. I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. Um, and the way they've incorporated this is that I've had a lot of phones over the past couple of years. To me, it's easy. You go to Walmart, you get a $30 phone. All right, no payment plan, no plan of them taking money out of your wallet. And with that, I've had to get a lot of phones. I've worked construction, I've worked this or that. I've been careless with phones simply because I just say, oh, I'll just buy another one. And for some reason, my family kept bringing that up these couple weeks. So there must be some speculation over these phones. But all I can say, if the government wanted to get you, and if you had some sort of evidence, they could. I'm pretty sure they could get that from you. Um, but but I'm out here spreading the word because after going what I've gone through what I believe being manipulated by the state of Connecticut in relation to being harassed, surveilled, targeted by the East Hartford and State Police, being profiled and taken advantage of by Hartford Hospital, them running me through these EEG machines, taking brain scans, and I'm pretty sure they analyzed my brain scans. And no doctor ever went over this with me. It was just you had a traumatic brain injury, but I've never had any problem remembering. I feel like I have a pretty good memory. And the facts that I put together, text messages of my family literally triangulating for no reason, just saying he needs help. He's a loony. He's a sociopath. He's schizophrenic. But they're saying all this stuff behind my back. And not talking to me. And but my aunt Patricia Birdnick of right around Charlestown, Rhode Island, she has a history. She retired from Hartford Hospital. All right, and once I sensed what was going on, that's what it kind of took me to another level of discomfort. Come to find out, she was working with a retired state trooper, Dave Pila. Dave, Piela, I believe. He was a retired state trooper, K-9 trooper from Colchester. All right? Who else is from Colchester and right down the road? Officer Cunningham, Walter Cunningham of the East Hartford Police Department. All these things are adding up, and it's all these things. Once you get so many coincidences in a row, it's a little bit. It's not just speculation anymore. But just be aware that the government is taking advantage of people, and I believe, especially in my case, they're trying to create domestic terrorists. They're creating domestic terrorism through these microwave weapons, hyper persuasion, manipulation, and just it's inhumane. It's not right, and I believe it's getting done to a lot of people right now. If you pay attention to the news, if you were to research gang stalking, targeting individuals, this is becoming more and more prevalent in the United States and possibly in the world. But this is just me checking in once again, unmedicated. Though what I'm talking about seems unbelievable, seems outrageous, seems out of this world. Just know that I realize that, and people just need to start considering. People have kept mentioning words of conspiracy to me, and the way this has happened is when they took my phone. If I had anything to hide when this car accident happened, all right, they took my phone for 3 months. If I had anything to hide or to charge me for, they would have charged me right then. All right. I have nothing to hide. I'm a perfectly sane individual that's been typecasted, discredited, and experimented on by, I believe, the state of Connecticut and the U.S. government. This is real, but say what you will. But I'm simply saying this because just to get the idea out there at the very least. It's November 1st, 2025. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm not going to hurt myself. All that bullshit I got to go over simply because that's what I've been made out to be a threat. You know, I've been put in a hospital, made out to be a threat. My rights to own a gun have been taken away. For what? You know, I don't know. But signing off. Take care. God bless.